and what's his name? Drake gets super pissed, and he's like, "Oh, so your brother is assaulted, and you treat his offender like a jack-o'-lantern. Put your head down on the table." And he fucking puts his head down, and it's just fun. Like the interactions, and the guy Drake was, I don't know, he was just such a solid like crime boss, you know what I mean? Like he just did everything that you wanted him to do. Like Slick goes, you know, he's like, "Oh, you know, somebody always gets the best of you at some point, like in your life."
Yeah.
And then Slick looks at him and he goes, "Oh, so somebody hurt you at one point, Drake?" And he's like, "Fuck no, I'm the Drake. Who the fuck is gonna fuck with me?"
Yeah.
And it just
like the Drake was like a villain that like succeeded almost all the way through until like, you know, we get to the ending, but like it was just so solid. Like he was like a character that fucking fully, like, you know, so many movies waste potential villains, and this one was just like, I feel like he got to fucking almost absolutely do everything possible. I mean, just look at the town. Basically, that was like all him, dude. Like he just fully fucking took over, dude, and made it turn to shit, dude, and installed fear. Like more than I could say like some like superhero villains, dude. I was just like, holy shit. And I truly believe Magnet has their own universe, dude. Like they should honestly, what if they did a multiverse thing or some shit? That'd be hilarious. But yeah, dude, I just honestly like the Drake. That fool's one of the most underrated villains of all time for me in movie history, maybe. What do you guys think? Fucking that's fucked up though. That when the Drake came up to Ivan and he's like, "Yo, you just never really had that much potential," and he fucking just guns him down, dude. That was fucked up.
Yeah, that was so
Ivan was fucking beats, dude, and I was like, really? That was like champion through him, dude. And
yeah,
I was just like, that's kind of up. I was just like, but that's what this movie does, dude. It was just like, that was that left hook you weren't ready for. Did you think Ivan was going to get blasted? I honestly didn't.
No.
Even though he got the vibe, he was going to treat him like shit. But
he was definitely like the kind of like the odd, like the black sheep of them, which is honestly weird because he is a whole lot taller and more menacing than Slick is. I would think. You know, a great example of this, and one of my favorite lines and scenes from the film is when they figure out I think the kid from the arcade in the beginning, towards the middle of the film, he figures out where the hobo and Abby are, the prostitute chick that is helping out the hobo, that they go back to her apartment, and the kid kind of squeals on them and lets Slick and Ivan know where they are, and so they pull up in their Lambo or whatever it is. And Slick gets out, and then Ivan gets out with his fucking ice skates on, and they go marching up to Abby's apartment, and Ivan just yells at the top of his lungs like, "Today's a good day for a skate rape." Oh, and it's just like,
yeah, dude. I was like, he was brutal.
Yeah, yeah. They're just like, yo, how do people think of this stuff? But it was awesome. Very unique and iconic in a lot of ways. Like they were thinking outside of the box with just a lot of this writing where you're just like, I would have never thought of that, but that's pretty ingenious, actually.
The one-liners were strong, dude.
Definitely. So many good lines in this, for sure.
Like I can never ignore the cop, dude. That was basically trying to rape Abby. And he's just like, I like the smell of your asshole. I can eat the peanuts off of her shit. Like some shit. I was like, what the fuck? You're gonna love the taste of my rod, or some shit like crazy bonkers. I was just like, they gave that guy the scum lines, dude.
And he sold it.
I'm the one paying you to use your holes. What?
And then, dude. And then that's where he obviously chases her down and gets killed. But yeah, I feel like no one was wasted. Everyone got their screen time, even if they were some small time villain like the little pimp. the pimp, the black pimp that was fucking bullying like little underage girls to do his work for him, and I was like, everyone something. Even though this film, like, I feel like everyone got it once this film hit Netflix. That cult following fucking for this film went skyrocketing, dude. Because Netflix owned it for like a good like almost 2 years, I think, and obviously at the time, I think Netflix was like the mainstream service that everyone had at the time until everyone started like, we're going to make our own streaming sites. But yeah, thanks to Netflix, the film definitely has gotten more popularity. Then it went to Hulu. Then now it's on Prime. So everyone's just babysitting the hobo with the shotgun. But I think this film, nothing contests. Like, I think this film, dude, and maybe of all time. And just so you know, James, Jason Eisner also directed the Turbo Kid 2 as well. And
really? Okay.
Yeah, and he's, well, I don't know if you're a favorite of this one, but he did the alien scene in VHS 2, which was the ending scene for that, and that shit was fucking crazy. And I don't know if you watch it, like, it basically, I don't know, it's a spoiler, I'm not gonna say it. But
it's a solid short film, definitely, that he did for that.
And that shit would hit me hard too. I was like, man, because he did a little scene where like it made me cry because like it involves like an animal, and I was like, damn. But yeah, he does some good work, dude. I just can't wait for like if he makes something else in these types of genres again. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I've been waiting for. It's probably hard to be a filmmaker right now, but who knows? I'll probably pay attention, maybe follow him on Instagram. I used to, but you know. Any more thoughts for you guys on the film? Did you guys like Abby? Like, do you guys feel like her being like the female lead was like all you needed? Like, she did pretty well, I thought. Like, what'd you guys think? Abby with the shotgun?
Yeah, I like her. I like her little. Her ending was pretty cool. And I thought it was a cool little thing that he kind of felt. I don't know if he kind of felt like attached to her or like, you know, some type of like father figure or something. But it was just funny that he ended up always like running into her when she was getting attacked or like in you know, horrible situations. And he would be there. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
their chemistry was pretty good. I like his little story of the bear, which was it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, a bear's paws will rip your head or your face right clean off. Yeah, dude. I was like, damn, it's true though. It was pretty deep, and she took care of him, dude, because that fool got fucking tore up, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she did really well, dude. I honestly think this film could have a sequel. It has potentials or prequels, for sure.
Yeah,
I think that. What you think, Wes?
Oh, yeah, I thought Abby did a really good job. When she starts off, you're kind of like, I don't know about her, and then she starts to win you over, especially by the end. She kind of become like unexpectedly turns into this badass final girl, and she does her thing. I think for a few years they were trying to, I think, get like a sequel off the ground with involving like her or I think like a spin-off of The Plague. We should talk about The Plague because I feel like they're one of that tag team is one of the best elements of this film, in my opinion, for sure. Summoning the plague.
Dude, when that happened, dude, the atmosphere of the movie just totally shifted. It just didn't, it went to something else. And I mean, the movie was already something else. And then, and now it just felt like, for me, like in ways like to, that guy's Costanzi's work where like he could just keep elevating like on top of the story and go somewhere else. And I was just like, whoa. With The Plague, dude, when they dropped, the music obviously got more like it came into retro, and it got all fucking like like Turbo Kid style, like
Yeah.
like style now. Like it's like that shit's in right now for me. I listen to that kind of music, and they had that theme, that power armor theme. You know what I mean? That shit's always cool.
It was kind of like it reminded me of the ruthlessness of the OG like RoboCop. You know what I mean? When they go in through the hospital and just slaughter all of the workers, and they're hanging them from the ceiling tiles, and the way that they do it is so seamless, like the editing in that, and how badass they make them feel, where you're just like, you start fearing like, oh yo, like, is the hobo even gonna be able to fight these fools? Like, they, you know what I mean? And then they come with the motorcycles dragging the fucking coffin. Like, how intimidating is that? You know what I mean?
Oh man, yeah.
They just totally fucking flipped everything upside down. And I thought they were pretty dope because they were also sort of respectful. They would fucking they listen to the hobo. He's like, hey, you got a match, and they light it for him, dude, and he gets to smoke probably like his final cigarette in the film, because obviously, major spoiler, the hobo fucking basically has to fight Drake at the end, and he basically dies, just to cut it short. But that shit was crazy, dude. Like, and I liked how the Plague were honorable because they basically lose. They weren't as invincible as we thought with Grinder. That's one of the Plague. There's Rip. Was it Grinder and Rip? Rip and Grinder. Basically, fucking Grinder dies, and Rip comes up to the hobo because he's walking up to a fire that the hobo, so he can like separate them. Because obviously the hobo was getting whooped, dude, and like there's just not much options. So they needed like a quick breather in the fight, and through the fire, Rip's like, she must replace Grinder in the Plague, and I was like, what? Like, that's just story on top of story, and that's why I think the sequel could happen. Maybe it doesn't need it, so it could always seem like timeless, but it's very possible. I don't know if West has more information. I haven't looked into it lately if they were going to dive into it or they just scrapped it or not. But I thought it was interesting that Ivan was Rip. The actor played both the characters. Ivan was the leader of the Plague, basically, just as a different character. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's pretty cool that he was able. Nick Bateman played both the characters.
Wow, so he's underneath all that armor? I didn't know that. That's a cool fact.
I mean, look at how he fights with the skates on, dude. That has to be Rip, dude. And he was fighting the people in the hospital. That looked pretty sick, dude. And I think it's like natural, just moves. Like he's like studied and knows that craft, like, in a way, and use it for your acting chops. It's too bad, like, for people that did so well in this film, they won't I don't think they'll get too much recognition besides like the cult following. Rutger-Hauer is always up there, and I think that probably boosted the film's attention because people obviously love him as Roy Batty. He's done many other great work as well too. He's just iconic. He was in fucking
Sin City.
Yeah. Fucking just too iconic. But the fucking did you want like more when you watched the ending? Like, did any of you guys felt like that? Like what? Like, where can it go from here?
Well, I thought it was a good ending. I didn't think I wasn't like, oh man, like, at least for me, I wasn't like, man, they should do a sequel. I thought it ended, to me, it felt like one of those one-off films that didn't really need an ending or need a sequel, just because I felt like it would kind of ruin what we already have.
The lore of it, sense.
Yeah. It's nice to have some of those things unanswered, and like how you said, Tiny, how Rip said that she needed to replace Grinder. I thought that was a pretty cool. That's something cool because it's like, oh man, like maybe these guys were never maybe they were never them. Like, you know, they might have killed he might have killed